Hello guys, this is a review of the sequel to this movie, Suicide Room, The Hejter. It's still not available on DVD in the US as far as I know, so I just wanted to use this as reference. The Hejter has little to nothing to do with this movie. There are some reprising roles. Well, Beata, Dominique's mother, is here. I am going to mess up everyone's names. Everyone knows here. If you don't, I don't speak Polish, but I'm going to try my best. Let's get started. Like I said, The Hejter has really nothing to do with this movie. The Hejter's about Tommy. That's the main character. He's a law student and he gets kicked out because he gets caught plagiarizing an essay or just a very important assignment of his, and that school is like top notch, so they don't tolerate that type of thing. Afterwards, he goes to work for this company that specializes in tarnishing people's image, whether they be huge celebrities or politicians, and they spread rumors and investigate them and follow them and blackmail them, that sort of stuff. The boss in that organization is Beata, like I said, Dominique's mother, and that's basically the only link that it has to the other movie. This film deals a lot with politics, so I'm not really gonna get into detail about any of that. If you do a quick Google search, or if you've been reading the news as of late, then you know how the United States is going through some very how can I say, tough times, honestly, and with delicate issues involving people dying, and that's not what this channel's about. So we're just gonna scratch, through the surface, and basically we're talking about a film here, but I am gonna use a bit of, parallels to real life because that's what I do. Anyway, so he goes there, he thrives, and he's obsessed with a family that's sponsoring him. This family is rich and they support the left-wing party. He's obsessed with one of their daughters, whose name is Gabi. This family that I'm talking about, their name is the Kravinskis. I think is the Kravinskis. And so he's trying his best, right, to just let them see this image of him as this qualifying candidate for their daughter. But he eventually makes a mistake of confessing to Gabi that he's no longer in school. He got kicked out, and them being his sponsor, they're kind of like, well, you lied to us. But he does make it up eventually. This movie's crazy. It's insane, honestly. The way that I'm explaining, as with every other movie that I've reviewed, I never do it justice, but I'm trying my best. So he gets the task of harming the left-wing party's candidate's campaign, and his name is Pavel. He does a quick search of his name and finds out that there are rumors that he's gay, and that's also one of the only gay themes throughout the whole entire movie. So this candidate lets him into his office, and they work together because they met at this other, besides the point. He goes to work for him and seduces him, drugs him, and gets one of the opposing party's followers to videotape him dancing at a gay club, so he gets in trouble for that. But then at the same time, he goes over to him again and motivates him to keep doing what he's doing, and because he's helping a bunch of people against the fascist points of view from the other parties, etc. So that happens, right? He realizes that he could play for both teams. He doesn't really have to go for, and by teams I don't mean sexuality, I mean, politically speaking. And he tries to blackmail. You know what? All these details are besides the point. Let me just get to the end so that I could get on with my opinion about the movie. So in the end, he manages to get one of the followers of the right-wing party to enter a building where they were holding a, what was it? It was a ceremony of some sort, and basically just have a terrorist attack where multiple people got killed and injured, himself included. He was trying to play the hero in front of everyone, and that's how he came off. I'm sorry about the dogs, they'll be quiet. And that's basically how the movie ends. He ends up being the hero of something that he orchestrated. And he blackmails Beata into letting him work there still, even though, like, she's a bad person. You know, she has no morals. She's out there just doing harm to anyone and everyone for money. But she has a limit. Like, people are dying here. But he knows that she has another son, so she had another baby after Dominic passed away, and kind of like just blackmails her. Says, you have to keep me here. And he manages to get that, to secure that job, and to keep Gabi as his girlfriend, and be invited into the Kravinsky's family. Okay, now into my opinion about the film. I thought the film, the first time I watched it twice. Only I should have watched it more times to really understand it more, but I feel like from the first time I watched it, you know, I just let like weeks pass without doing a review, so I just wanted to rewatch it, and I did that yesterday night. In comparison to Dominique, I felt so identified with him. I felt like he was like Cardi B says, a regular schmegler kid. He just had he had holes that were never really filled, and emotionally, and everything that I said in my other review. And Tommy, on the other hand, he's just a very troubled guy. He's very troubled, and not in my opinion, a treatable way. I think that, well, I mean, obviously they could do their best, you know, psychologists and psychiatrist with him, but I really don't think that they were gonna get anywhere with him, because that kid was so narcissistic. And what is that word when you like I don't know, he was a pathological liar. He had a lot of things going on with him that were just not safe for anyone to be around him. He reminds me a lot of Elliot Rodger. Elliot Rodger was a real life young man who Google his name, Elliot Rodger. This happened many years ago. He left a manifesto. He murdered a bunch of people and injured many more because he didn't have the attention of women. I read his entire manifesto, so like when I refer to it as manifesto, it's just basically his reasoning behind this, like his life story and why he decided to kill these people. And his life story in a nutshell was that he grew up and he was bullied. He felt like women especially did not notice him, and he felt deserving of their attention, and that they should be lucky to be with someone as beautiful and charming as him. And that ended up tragically. He took his own life, and it reminded me a lot of Tommy. A lot. Like, if after you guys research his name and everything, you'll see why I'm saying this. This kid was just so troubled. I had from the very beginning, and he has this thing where he could manipulate people so easily. That's one of the topics of this movie that I wanted to touch on. Another one was the fact that we live in a world like, and every time people say like nowadays, like back in my day it used to be different, but sometimes it's really true. The statement was true. I grew up in half of the 90s, you know. I was born in 95, and there weren't cell phones. There certainly wasn't any social media going on anywhere. Cameras were not as accessible as they are now to people. We had like the disposable ones, or we could have my point being is that nowadays we have a weapon. in our hands with cell phones. They really could serve to kill. Also to save lives. In emergency, we call 911 and problem gets resolved, hopefully. But people use it to just vomit a bunch of lies, and people believe it. I'm a fan of art in general, so I follow some artists, as with anyone, I think, most people, I should say. I like movies, obviously, and when I read the comments, some people say the dumbest things, like that really they cannot provide evidence of what they're saying, yet they're saying it. And they think that it's so easy to say whatever they want because they're not gonna get caught, and like they have a Peppa Pig as their avatar and a name like the Banana Blister 79. You know what I'm saying? But no, people. If you do something terrible, if you incite violence, if you're here doing things to that degree, you could be investigated and you could face a jail time or a humongous fine that you really don't want to go through that. I don't understand why people do this. I like to think that people are good and that, oh, maybe it's their circumstances and whatever, but dude, like, I think it's a very easy to know. Just see it in your head, play it out in your head, and see, are people getting hurt? Like, are people seriously getting hurt by this? If your answer is yes, then don't do it. The way that Tommy lived his life, it was just crazy. It's scary to think that there are people like him around in our real world. And okay, let me touch a little bit on the guy that committed the terrorist attack in the movie. Tommy contacts him through a virtual online game. Obviously, that's another similarity to the first, to its predecessor, Suicide Room. And he plays on the fact that he has to care for his grandma and this and that. You know what? I have a question about this too. There's a scene where he's on his computer, then he goes over to his grandma, probably so she could go to sleep. But you can't really see it clearly, or maybe it's because I watched it on my phone, on Netflix. But it looks like he was pulling her dress down. Was that not intended that way? Was he supposed to be like trying to motion her to go to sleep or something like that? Because I got that wrong. It seemed a little bit, a little bit sick, a little bit like they were implying that he was just so wrong mentally that he could also be abusing his grandmother. But I might be wrong. Either way, the guy was very, very out of it. And Tommy uses that to his advantage. He talks to him and manages to hire him as the killer in the movie. And I feel like if you watch the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, like, I really suggest that you watch it, because they make up fake profiles and fake groups and followers, and they get actual people to come with them and do their dirty work for them, and they just wash their hands clean of everything. Do not fall for these type of things, people. I understand wanting to like get back at people if they say, oh, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, but dude, like, don't feed off of that, because these might be just like bots, or they might have like a hidden agenda that you really don't want to be a part of. So if you're not seeing it face to face, then I really suggest that you take everything you read with a grain of salt. It's honestly just scary, because they touch from like the regular common person to like high profile celebrities or people that are running
you know, our countries, and it's some, I don't know, it's just wrong. The movie is it's really good. It's a really good movie, honestly. I'm not gonna say that it's not. I enjoyed it. I think that it's one of the finest movies on Netflix. It took me a while to review this movie, not because I didn't care to. I really wanted to, but I wanted to purchase a DVD. But then since like the Selena series came out and I wanted to watch that, I already had access to this, so I said might as well, you know, I'm already here. But yeah, the movie, Tommy is something else. Really good actor. Everyone there did a fantastic job, but my goodness, it's just so twisted. The way that he could play with people's emotions, and he was hearing everything that was going on in their house. And people, be careful out there. If there's something like extremely fishy, report it. It's better that you look like paranoid and stupid, quote unquote, than to have to, you know, endure some of these consequences. I don't know, did you guys feel the same way? Like, watching something where you feel like, okay, I'm watching a movie, right? And this movie is very scary, very dark, but yet we live in a world like that. Anybody could say anything, and some people believe it and attack you for it. I think anyone with good conscience, anyone with a healthy state of mind and a positive mindset is not going to feed off of having multiple people attack another group of people or another person in particular. It's just not the way it is. And of course you could state your opinion. I live in a country where freedom of speech is a wonderful thing, but I feel that people do abuse that privilege, and it ends up hurting people. If it's, like I said in the beginning, if it hurts people, then maybe your freedom of speech should be dialed down a notch or two, because you wouldn't like it if it were your mother, you know. I don't know why people think that it's acceptable to do these things, and they say, oh, because we have the liberty to do as we want, that our democracy allows it. Yeah, but then there are also people in jail, and like, you support it because if you do something, I don't even want to go off. Like, I could talk about this forever and ever and ever. The movie really shows the dark side of humanity, but it has nothing to do with the original Suicide Room. Suicide Room, I identified with more. I felt like everyone there just needed to be raised with more love and attention and care for what they had to say. And they faced a lot of rough patches, had also some, you know, some dark thoughts in their minds, but nothing that they couldn't overcome. Just very unfortunate series of events. And in the sequel, The Hejter, like, from the get-go, like, Tommy, I never felt like bad for him, we could say. Like, I was just kind of following this guy's journey as the king of trolls, and not in a very good way. He wasn't funny. He was just out there making a mess of everyone's lives and playing with people, something that you really, really, really shouldn't do. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I know everything, I know what to do, I know what's right and wrong, but that's obviously not right. Okay? Like, it's pretty simple. But yeah, like, as a movie, like I said, the acting was great. Do not watch it like translated to English. I watched it first in its original language, and then with subtitles, and then I watched it in English, and they don't even translate it the same. The acting just doesn't really fit. I don't want to say that the voice actors who dubbed it were bad, but it just really doesn't fit the movie. It's bad. You could see that it's dubbed. You could hear it, I mean, and it's not. It's just better to watch it in its original language. Polish films rock. I've had a great experience with them. It's the ones that I watched were amazing. I'm so glad that I watched it and had the chance to review it now. I know that it, like I said, I did take a long time to do it, but not because I didn't care to. And yeah, I guess that's it for this one. Like I said, I could keep talking forever, but then this just won't end because it touches on so many things that are going on right now. My rating for this movie would be a 9.5 out of 10 in its category. 9.5 out of 10. No, a 9 out of 10 in its category. It would be a lot higher if I actually felt some sort of thing for Tommy, but Tommy was just like too grotesque. His actions were, at least, like anyway, thank you for watching.